Hello boys, welcome back to another session of video tutorials, and this session is meant for class 11th biology students, and this is for 14th September 2020. Our memory helps us in tracing out what we have been discussing in our previous sessions, and when we link what we have studied in previous sessions to the present one, the concept would become whole and understanding of the concept would be meaningful, and hence there will be appreciation of the knowledge that you gained. So our effort is to have that appreciation within yourselves. So we were talking about regulation of kidney function, and in that we were talking about the factor renin, that is the blood pressure. As blood pressure decreases, the cells of the juxtaglomerular apparatus release an enzyme called renin. So that is the first one we were talking about, renin. So once renin is released, and this activates what we called yesterday RAS, RAAS, renin angiotensin aldosterone system. And renin converts angiotensinogen into angiotensin 1, and angiotensin converting enzyme then converts angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2, a peptide hormone that is the active form. Angiotensin 2 increases the synthesis and release of aldosterone. Look at that, aldosterone, and raises blood pressure directly by constricting blood vessels and stimulates sodium reabsorption by the PCT, proximal convoluted tubule. So that is the purpose of it. So keeping that in our mind, there has to be regulation of blood pressure within the auricles and the arteries. So there is increased pressure and decreased pressure, and reabsorption of sodium and potassium. These are the crucial points that you must remember. So the renin angiotensin mechanism is all important in regulation of the kidney. The JGA plays a complex regulatory role. A fall in the glomerular blood flow, glomerular blood pressure, GFR, can activate the JG cells to release a renin enzyme. Renin converts angiotensin in blood to angiotensin 1 and further to angiotensin 2. Angiotensin 2 being a powerful vasoconstrictor, see, look at that, vasoconstrictor, increases the glomerular blood pressure and therefore GFR. Angiotensin 2 also activates the adrenal cortex to release aldosterone hormone. Aldosterone causes reabsorption of Na plus and water. This is most important from the distal parts of the tubule. This also leads to an increase in blood pressure. See, aldosterone increases the blood pressure and GFR. This complex mechanism is generally known as renin angiotensin mechanism. And we will talk about the changes in the heart also. The functioning of the kidneys is efficiently monitored and regulated by hormonal feedback mechanisms involving the hypothalamus. Just now I said hypothalamus, JGA, and to certain extent heart. So heart also is involved. Osmoreceptors in the body are activated by changes in blood volume, body fluid volume, and ionic concentration. An excessive loss of fluid from the body can activate these receptors, which stimulate the hypothalamus to release ADH, antidiuretic hormone, or it is also called vasopressin, from neurohypophysis. Antidiuretic hormone facilitates water reabsorption. This you must remember for your NEET exam. ADH facilitates water reabsorption from the later parts of the tubule, thereby preventing diuresis. An increase in body fluid volume can switch off the osmoreceptors and suppresses the ADH release to complete the feedback. This is feedback mechanism. ADH can also affect the kidney functioning by its constrictory effects on blood vessels. This causes an increase in blood pressure. There we said decrease. Now it is increase in blood pressure. An increase in blood pressure can increase the glomerular blood flow and thereby GFR. So this is how checks and balances will be there. And there is another factor which controls the functioning of the kidney, that is called ANF. And this is a hormone, a peptide hormone, atrial natriuretic factor. I'll repeat, atrial natriuretic factor, ANF, which opposes the regulation by ROS. This factor can cause vasodilation. This increases the vasodilation and thereby decrease the blood pressure. See, just now we talked about increase of blood pressure. Now that should be decreased, and the decrease of the blood pressure is through ANF. So an increase in blood flow to the atria, means auricle of the heart, can cause the release of ANF. ANF can cause vasodilation, dilation of blood vessels, and thereby decrease the blood pressure. ANF mechanism therefore acts as checks. It's a check and balances on the renin-angiotensin mechanism. So this is how three factors control the functioning of kidney. One, remember, RAS, renin-angiotensin aldosterone system, number one. Number two, it is ADH, antidiuretic hormone. Number three, ANF, atrial natriuretic factor. This will control the functioning of the kidney. And with all these checks and balances, still we suffer with some disorders of the kidney becoming non-functional. And very common one, particularly in North Karnataka, is renal calculi, what normally we say kidney stones. And this renal calculus are formed by precipitation of uric acid. It is the precipitation of uric acid and it becomes oxalates. So it is the oxalates that causes severe colic pain in the back, spreading down to thighs, and the stones may pass into the ureter or urinary bladder, and they may grow and result in severe pain and blocks the urine passage. Hence, it causes severe pain, and there are medicines which dissolves these oxalates. Okay, the crystallized salts can be dissolved within the body, and by drinking a lot of water, these oxalates, broken oxalates, can pass off, and in some cases these will trouble as they block the ureters. Hence, there may be a surgery required. Hence, what is the safest way to avoid this renal calculi? 2 points. Point number one, lot of water. Drink plenty of water. Second, reduce or control calcium foods. Foods that have got calcium should be controlled. Okay, these are the two things that one must take care. And then second one is glomerulonephritis. Glomerulonephritis. This is inflammation of the glomerulus. Remember that glomerulus network, that is the. So it may be due to injury, it may be because of infection from bacteria, and sometimes it is related to allergy of the drugs that one is taking. So it's drugs also may cause this nephritis. And third, we have got one more which is there in your textbook, is uremia. Uremia, uremia, uremia. What is this uremia? Accumulation of urea in blood. This is urea in blood. This is uremia. And what happens? And once urea is accumulated in blood due to malfunctioning of the kidney, urea is highly harmful, and it is usually a consequence of renal failure. Kidney failure may take place. In such patients, urea can be removed by hemodialysis. So that is very costly again. Dialysis should be done. And then, of course, kidney failure or renal failure. Fourth one, kidney failure or renal failure. And this is a medical condition in which the kidneys fail to adequately filter the water products from the blood. Hemodialysis should be started after diagnosis is done. In hemodialysis, blood is drained from an artery into a dialyzing unit which contains cellophane tube surrounded by a fluid of same composition as plasma except nitrogenous based. Cellophane membrane allows passage of molecules based on concentration gradient. That is important. And nitrogen waste hence freely move out, and cleared blood is pumped back to the body through vein. That means it is a almost artificial kidney. So what is the mechanism that we follow, procedure we follow? HAE, hemodialysis. DIALYSIS, hemodialysis. Hem means blood. So purification of blood. So we can do it through artificial kidney also, through artificial machine. But then this cannot be a permanent solution. What is the permanent solution? First of all, taking care of the kidney. Second, in case we are not able to do that, then we require donor. Some dana karna should be there to donate the kidney. Then only, again, matching of the blood should be there. Then only the surgery will be successful. Hence, for all this, what is that? We require a good healthy lifestyle and drink plenty of water. I think